Ken Quimby is a former city councilor that's trying to regain a seat on the city council right now, and we're very pleased to have him with us to tell us all about his campaign and what he's for. Welcome to the program, Ken.
Thank you very much, Frank, and thanks to everybody here at the HC Media for having us. Thank you.
That's great. I know that you, in years past, have always been an advocate for public safety, the police and fire department. That hasn't changed, has it?
No, it has not, and I'm the guy that did the pushing for the generators for the firehouses of Haverhill. I'm the one that pushed it, and thank God we had funds. The councilors voted for it, and the mayor put the money forward to put the generators in for the firehouses.
You know, that's an excellent example.
Because of the ice storms we've had and power outages.
You're right. You know, it's an excellent example with one of the questions we put forth to some of the other candidates, and that happens to be that good ideas can sometimes be even stronger or more meaningful than a candidate's win. And because I was going to ask about what specific ideas would you like to see move forward, whether you win or not. Do you have any other ideas that you'd like to see implemented, not just if you happen to gain a seat on the city council, but even if you don't? Sometimes the great ideas have legs of their own.
Yeah, well, Frank, I like to see more senior housing. We have an issue with that. We don't have enough senior housing. I'm probably not the only candidate that talked about it, and I don't want to be redundant, but that's one of my issues there, and so forth. And I know they're talking about it now. We're building new schools coming down the road. We're going to need fire stations too. So those are my issues for the future.
Do you think that those are items that you think you'd recommend as part of the master plan that they're going to be discussing right now?
Yes, definitely, most definitely. Because the old firehouses have outlived itself. We need to upgrade and make new ones. North Andover's got some nice ones, Andover and so forth. Haverhill needs to do the same thing because modern technology of fire trucks that are coming to the city now, and we have those now, but more are going to be coming in the future. We need to upgrade our firehouses and so forth.
Are you talking about upgrading firehouses, and not only upgrading, but are you talking about adding some?
Yes,
Where?
Definitely.
Where would you add them?
Okay. For the firehouses, okay, I think we need to have one on Route 97. This seems like an old issue years ago. We need to have a firehouse up there, you know, and so forth. And maybe to comprehend the situation of car accidents and fires up in that area and so forth. And just this past week campaigning, a lot of areas, people said some of the fire hydrants are not working. So now I have an issue to find out what's going on with the water department and to upgrade some of the out of service fire hydrants in the city of Haverhill.
I know that in some cases, because the fire department may consider that they have limited resources to deal with, that's translated into new building codes whereby they're requiring sprinkler systems,
right,
especially for those in outlying areas, because of the distance and the period of time that it takes to get from one spot to the other spot. Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Do you know if each of these firehouse locations, designed and for not only to respond to in the event of a fire, but are they also designed to respond because they may be closest to respond to an emergency situation?
Yes.
Each of them are?
Yes, they are. And I hear it quite often because I listen to the Haverhill Fire Department on my scanner and so forth. Yes, definitely, Frank. Yeah. So they're fast, very fast getting to service for that situation. But you know,
if you were to pivot right now and look at any other different subject other than police, fire, and safety in that one, if we take a look at any other subjects, what other subjects do you think need attention that have not been given the full force of attention that it needs?
Well, right now I'm pretty satisfied the way things have been going, status quo with the city council and so forth. I just have one issue that I'm not too happy what they did recently.
Which is?
And as I think we should have been putting the marijuana thing back on the ballot. And I would have voted for it. I think the people have a right to have another chance to the shops. And totally, I'm against the pot shops. And I would have voted no if I was a city councilor, but I would have just voted for one establishment, not 3, not 4, not 5. I would have voted for one.
So
I have a problem with that.
Some of those, I guess, are mandated by the state.
Exactly.
But the question I've got for you, and I know you're not speaking for the fire department, you're not speaking for the police department, but from your friends that you've heard, you know, don't be specific about it. What is their feeling on the advent of 4 marijuana shops or places to dispense this marijuana. How do they feel about it? Do they feel that there's any threat to public safety in the long term? Because you don't know what you don't know.
We don't.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Right,
But,
and that's
but from
the
a
thing.
precautionary standpoint, I just wonder how they feel.
I wish I could give you an answer on that, but I can't, Frank. I don't want to go ahead and see what's going to happen. My feeling is down deep. I think we're going to have an issue down the road. I think we're going to have more. I know the overdoses have dropped a little bit, but not in Haverhill. They're on the uptrend. That's still some, and I'm just concerned with combining the two together. And if I'm wrong, okay, I'll be the first to admit to that, Frank, and so forth. As a citizen and as a candidate for city council.
I understand that there's concern based upon this fact as an example, and that is that the law enforcement community they have the equipment to deal with people that may be operating under the influence of alcohol,
right?
Because that's measurable with a breathalyzer and things of that type.
Correct.
But that same equipment is not universally applicable to somebody that may be driving under the influence of some other substance. You know, whether it be some sort of a narcotic or anything else.
Right.
And the question is now, how do you measure that? You're going to need more equipment to be able to deal with that, and another category to deal with that. Have you heard anything about that at all?
No, and I think the state of Massachusetts should have done this first. Should have done this before we went through with the marijuana shops. We should have done this all first before we go and issuing any license in the state of Massachusetts. I think it should have been done first, Frank, before we do anything. Because if somebody gets killed, whatever if it's a loved one of a political person, losing a cousin or a son or daughter, then it's going to be too late, and all of a sudden the bells will go off, and all of a sudden, we should have done something sooner. I think it should have been done first, Frank. That's my opinion.
Let me ask you a question in a totally different realm, and that happens to be this. Many people, when they're running for political office here in the city of Haverhill, city councilors and mayoral candidates and all, they say that part of our best resource happens to be the Merrimack River, okay, and that it should be used to a fuller extent than it is being used right now. Yet on the flip side, or just prior to that, people would say, well, the Merrimack River, they've curtailed the dumping of fluids in there from industry over time, and the river's become clean, and it's a great resource, and that's fine, except that now we also find that the federal government has mandated that cities and towns along the river, up in New Hampshire and along the river in Massachusetts as well, curtail the dumping of waste in the Merrimack River, and we find that there are 13 outlets from the city of Haverhill that empty out into the Merrimack River and can empty out if there's over 1/10 of an inch of rain. It can cause an overflow. Raw sewage can go into the river. And what do you say to boaters? What do you say to swimmers or people that are fishing?
Exactly.
How do you deal with that? Because the federal government says you got to fix it. City of Haverhill says we don't have the money to fix it.
And then it becomes more of an issue, Frank, and where are the funds going to come forward for that? And that's an issue that I'm concerned about.
So how do you fix that?
You know what? You know what they're going to all say? Well, you got to go to the delegation. You got to go to your reps. Go to the governor. Yeah. We have so much money in the state, and they only can distribute so much, and that's it. And if we can't do it, then we have to take a look. Well, then where do we go from there? I wish I could give you more of a direct answer, Frank. I'm going to be honest with you and up front, because that's the kind of person I am.
I appreciate that.
And if I had a magic wand, say it's going to be taken care of, we'll fix it. But it's still going to be, we can talk about it 2 years from now, and it's still going to be happening.
Last question I've got for you is that to the audience that's watching right now, what makes you the standout candidate from the rest of the people running for the same office you are that should make them vote for you?
Well, with me, because I like to go in a different row, in a different path, not follow the same suit of what I go every week to meetings for the last 40 years. Some of it is redundant. And I think we need to make a move and make some change. I know I've been on before, but I'd like to get back on for the people of Haverhill. And I think it's time, we people of Haverhill need to participate at the meetings and have a right to speak anytime they want, every Tuesday, whether it's on the agenda or not. I know one councilor keeps bringing that out. They are paying our salary, and I think they have all the right to come. And if they have ideas, then we run with it, or we put them on a committee or part of a team. That's how I feel, Frank.
Thank you, Ken. That'll be the last word from Ken Quimby, running for election to be able to regain an office on the City Council. Thanks very much for being here,
Thank
Ken.
you very much, Frank. I appreciate it.
Wish you the best. We hope that this program has been a point of reference for you. And until next time, my name is Frank Novak, and thanks very much for watching. And remember to vote on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th.